All right, well, the rift in the royal family is once again in the spotlight, with Prince Harry airing his grievances to the world after losing a security battle.
I can't see a world in which I would be bringing my wife and children back to the UK.
And just like that, the gloves are off. The House of Lords has come out swinging properly, and now they are pushing a massive petition to snatch every last royal title from Prince Harry. No half measures, no soft landings. After that bomb moment where Harry said he couldn't even imagine bringing Meghan and the kids back to the UK, the establishment had enough. According to insiders, this ain't just about protocol, it's personal. They say Harry's crossed one line too many, and now the old guard wants his name stripped clean. It didn't kick off with a scandal or some front-page frenzy. It all started like a quiet rumor going around Westminster's dusty old halls. Just the kind of murmurs that usually mean something big's bubbling under. Turns out, those rumors were spot on, and this time, it's not the palace playing coy, it's Parliament sharpening its tools. The lords of all people have weighed in. You would think they were too busy with posh lunches and dusty scrolls, but no. They have just gone full throttle on Meghan Markle. See, despite all the drama back in 2020, when Harry and Meghan packed their bags and waved goodbye to royal life, one thing was crystal clear. They weren't supposed to use their HRH titles anymore. It was a deal, sealed with the Queen's nod.
My country, we tend to be a little bit behind. America has all the new ideas. They take a few years to cross the pond, and you send us many good things. And what you're doing in this space right now, through this administration, is good. You also send us bad things, because you send us woke. But you know what? We've got you back, because we've sent you Prince Harry in return, all right?
Fast forward to now, and Meghan's been throwing that title around like it's a fashion label.
I think Meghan Markle has been very brazen recently with the use of the HRH.
HRH this, Duchess that, even showed up in Nigeria like it was some low-key royal tour. But make no mistake, this wasn't a cheeky cultural visit. It had all the trimmings, officials in uniform, speeches, photo ops with generals, the works, all without the crown's blessing. It all started with the breakaway. Harry and Meghan packed up and legged it to Hollywood, claiming they wanted privacy, only to then sign megabucks Netflix deals and film what's basically a glossy royal reality show. The press intrusion with little Archie was the tipping point, they said, but to many Brits, it came off like an excuse wrapped in designer luggage. Back home, folks feel mugged off. A recent poll showed a whopping majority reckon Harry and Meghan should be stripped of their titles. That's a far cry from when he was the charming redhead soldier, son of Diana, and a key player in the so-called Fab Four. Back then, it looked like they were going to modernize the monarchy. Now, that shiny image has well and truly cracked. The palace has been under pressure to act. Charles, bless him, has been resisting calls to take Harry's titles, but even his patience seems to be wearing thin. People are asking, why is he protecting him? Surely after all this drama, it's the least Harry's earned. Meanwhile, public opinion's turning on him too. 61% think his HRH should be binned as well. But for now, all eyes are on Meghan. She has become the lightning rod, the symbol of what happens when royal tradition meets brand building. Legal experts are even digging out the 1917 Royal Titles Act. That old chestnut says you can't use a title for cashing in or posing about. If the Lords push this all the way, it could mean Meghan loses not just her Duchess title, but any claim to royal status. The Duchess of Sussex might soon be nothing more than a memory. One of the biggest red flags in the whole shebang is the fact that Meghan's been repeatedly breaking the royal comms rulebook, like properly trampling over centuries-old protocol. We are not talking about minor slip-ups here. This is the sort of code that was designed to stop royals mouthing off abroad or saying things that could land the monarchy in serious trouble. And then there's the money game. The Lords properly laid into what they called blatant commercialization of a sovereign title. Meghan and Harry didn't just sign with Spotify and Netflix for the crack. They flogged their story under the Sussex label. They even tried to trademark Sussex Royal and Archewell, wanted to turn the monarchy into a merchandise shelf. It all got so out of hand the late Queen had to step in and tell them to knock it off. The Lords are now calling this out as pure, unauthorized commercial exploitation. In simple terms, they cashed in on the crown and Parliament's had enough. Nowadays, headlines about Harry don't mention charity or honor. It's lawsuits, tell-alls, and scathing interviews. The BBC chat where he basically called the firm cold and heartless blew the lid off things. Some cheered him on, most didn't. They saw a bloke slagging off his family while still cashing in on their name. Then came the shocking news. Harry demanding taxpayer-funded security while popping over from his Cali mansion. With folks here struggling to heat their homes, that went down like a cold pint. Why should the public foot the bill for someone who's legged it across the Atlantic? Robert Jobson reckons King Charles is acting out of love. Maybe, but sympathy has its limits. And Harry might have crossed the line when his royal critiques started feeling more like a PR strategy than heartfelt confession. He's flogged his story on Netflix, penned a memoir that ruffled more than a few feathers, and now Meghan's rumored to be cracking on with season 2 of whatever royal docudrama they're making next. So where does that leave Harry? Still a prince by blood, sure. But in the eyes of the British public, that crown's slipping. Fast. Things kicked off again recently thanks to Omid Scobie's bombshell book. It dropped names previously kept hush, senior royals allegedly making dodgy comments. You could hear the palace gates rattling. Some MPs are now quoting a law from 1919, dusted off and ready to go, the Titles Deprivation Act. That's right, the same act used to strip royal titles from traitors back in the First World War. Only this time the target ain't some German cousin, it's Harry. The accusation was using his royal clout to rake in cash, stir the political pot, and bash the monarchy, all while keeping that shiny Duke of Sussex badge pinned firmly to his chest. The language in the petition is as harsh as it gets. It says, morally treasonous. That's no small phrase when you are talking about royalty. And Meghan, she has been called out too, especially for allegedly still using the HRH title even after agreeing not to. That's a proper kick in the teeth to the Queen's memory. Some reckon stripping their titles could backfire, make them look like victims and fuel another round of Netflix specials. But others say enough's enough. You can't slate the institution then sell books off the back of it. There's a line, and they have danced right over it in Hollywood heels. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan have gone radio silent. No press release, no denial, nothing. In Parliament, things are getting feisty. Conservative MP Bob Seeley's pushing a bill to officially yank their titles. To make matters worse, the whole affair has now been dubbed title laundering. The idea that Harry's flogging the royal badge for clout and coin, all while torching the very institution that gave it to him. Netflix, Spotify, memoirs, activism, all neatly wrapped in royal branding. It ruffled feathers from Westminster to Windsor. And now, it's not just the press, the public, or the backbenchers getting cross. Even Prince William apparently is fed up and already making quiet plans for when he's on the throne. Rumor has it he won't be as soft as his dad. At the end of the day, this isn't just about Harry mouthing off or Meghan being a bit much. It's a constitutional crisis in the making. Because once you start picking apart royal duty, tradition, and privilege, where do you stop? Right from Spare, right through to that Netflix docuseries that aired more dirty laundry than a laundrette, Harry's built a whole media machine off one thing: his royal roots. Let's not kid ourselves. It's not just that he's Harry, it's that he was a prince, a royal turned rogue, a duke with a grudge and a camera crew. And that sells. But here's the rub. Brits are struggling with the contradiction. You can't slap the royal crest on your podcast artwork and then have a pop at the firm every time you grab a mic. You can't demand privacy and then pocket seven-figure sums to rehash family drama on global platforms. You walked away from it all, yet you are still flogging the image it gave you. It's not just a bit cheeky anymore. Even the king's looking a bit fed up with it all. This isn't just double standards, it's blatant exploitation. Pundits, MPs, even old palace staff are calling it for what it is: cynical, opportunistic, and more than a little ungrateful. People are saying Harry wants all the perks of being royal without any of the graft. Fame without the job, the title without the loyalty. Now let's not forget, it was his own book that started a lot of this. Yet his mate Omid Scobie's still doing cartwheels trying to explain how those controversial claims just magically landed in a draft. For a monarchy built on duty and tradition, all this PR-driven pain peddling is doing more than just ruffling feathers. It's rocking the boat. Let's be real, Harry wasn't banished. He legged it voluntarily, but with every tell-all, every glitzy deal, he's leaning harder into the very royal brand he swore he was done with. Now, taking his dukedom away isn't some small affair. It's not just a tick-box job. Parliament would have to get involved, and no one's quite sure how the MPs would swing on that. Still, the bigger picture clear, you can't have your cake and scoff it too. It's this double act, raking in the cash while tearing down the crown, that's got people asking, if he no longer represents the monarchy, why is he still allowed to flash the title like it's a backstage pass? Conservative MP Bob Seeley isn't mucking about. He is digging up an old bit of legislation from 1917, the Titles Deprivation Act, originally cooked up to deal with royals who backed Germany in WWI. Seeley reckons it's high time we updated it for modern use. His target were two very familiar names, Harry and Meghan. He's not coming for their heads, but he does want to strip titles from royals, who, in his words, are making a few quid off the very institution they keep trying to burn down. Sound familiar? It's not war crimes this time. It's what he's calling reputational treason. And Seeley's not hiding his stripes. He's a proud monarchist, but he's not up for watching the crown get turned into a Netflix backdrop without consequences. To him, royalty should stand for something, duty, service, dignity, not primetime drama and podcast exclusives. For Seeley, this isn't about vengeance. It's about setting a line. If royal titles are going to mean anything going forward, there's got to be some accountability. Otherwise, we're just flogging souvenirs. And behind the scenes, King Charles is walking a tightrope. He's made it crystal clear. This sort of decision needs to go through the proper channels. No rash moves, no royal tantrums. It's a quiet masterclass in staying above the fray while letting Parliament do the heavy lifting. And look, no official palace statement, sure, but don't think that means nothing's happening. Actions have been louder than words. Remember when it was revealed Harry and Meghan weren't using their titles anymore? No big announcement, just a quiet but pointed move approved from the very top. It's a royal message, loud and clear. If you want out, fine, but you don't get to drag the family name through the mud on your way out and still wear the crest on your lapel. And all the while, Sussex, his namesake, is sitting awkwardly in the background. The county that once saw him as a point of pride now feels like it's been saddled with a PR disaster. Locals are starting to wonder, is he even our Duke anymore? It's all become a bit of a circus, really. Podcasts, publishers, and public spats, each one chipping away at the dignity of the institution. And while Harry and Meghan stay suspiciously quiet, the real fallout is landing right on home turf. For a place like Sussex, proper steeped in tradition, full of charm and history, it was meant to be a bit of a coup, having a royal title tied to the region. Folk thought Prince Harry might be the face of a more modern monarchy, grounded, involved, flying the flag for local causes and giving something back. A royal who'd actually roll up his sleeves and muck in, you know? But fast forward a few years and the shine's long worn off. Ask around the local pubs or scroll through the comments online, and you'll get an earful. A lot of people reckon it's a joke. They walked away from royal life, so why are they still clinging to the titles? What locals see now isn't some dashing duke doing good. It's a bloke caught up in media drama, political rows, and a fair bit of finger-pointing. And people are starting to ask, does he still deserve to be the Duke of Sussex? The big question's this. If you are going to go on telly, spark a massive row about racism in the royal family, and throw two senior royals under the bus, is it really fitting to keep hold of that dukedom? It's not just about disagreeing with the family. Fair enough, families fall out. But what rubbed people the wrong way was the scale of the claims. And then to walk it back later saying, oh no, it wasn't racism, just unconscious bias, well, that doesn't sit right. Feels like they are having it both ways. There's a petition going round, backed by community leaders, some councillors, and plenty of longtime Sussex locals, calling for Harry to be stripped of the title. Their argument's pretty simple. If a title going to mean anything, it ought to go to someone who actually represents the area. Someone who gives a toss, frankly, not someone popping up in Hollywood deals and California podcasts. And then there's Meghan. A note on a gift basket she sent recently used her HRH title, bit awkward that. The deal when they stepped back was that they'd keep the titles but not use them officially. So either someone's dropped the ball or they're hoping no one notices. But of course, people do notice. The whole situation's gone well past gossip. It's not just about names and titles anymore. It's about pride, identity, and who gets to carry the royal banner. Plenty of people think the title should go to a working royal who actually shows up, represents the crown, and doesn't keep stirring up drama across the pond. Because honestly, locals feel mugged off. They were promised a duke and duchess who'd be involved in the life of the region, and instead, they got global celebs who show up in documentaries chatting about their trauma while still cashing in on the royal name. It's no wonder there's talk of protests if they ever visit again. And while some argue they're just two hurt people trying to heal, others reckon they're causing the damage, not just suffering from it. Even the charitable stuff they do is being questioned. Without the royal title, is it just another celeb PR move? Look, let's not pretend this is normal. Royals falling out with each other is nothing new. But what Harry and Meghan have done, leaving the firm, slagging it off publicly, then signing massive streaming and book deals off the back of it, is a whole different kettle of fish. It's no wonder comparisons are being made to wartime traitors, not because of the content, but the precedent. And while King Charles is said to be reluctant, and there is only so long the palace can keep looking the other way. Because every time the Sussexes take another swipe at the monarchy while still benefiting from the status, it chips away at the institution. The irony is that it stripped them of the titles and the whole brand might crumble. Their global appeal, their commercial deals, all lean heavily on the royal mystique. Take that away and suddenly they are just another famous couple in LA, trying to stay relevant in a sea of influencers and reality stars. Some reckon Meghan's the one driving the ship, with Harry just tagging along these days. Whatever the truth is, the fact remains that their titles have been a safety net. Lose those, and everything changes. And let's be honest, they can't have it both ways. You can't keep cashing in on the crown while torching the palace in every interview. Sooner or later, people start to see through it. Whether or not the petition gets anywhere, one thing's clear. The monarchy's under pressure to move with the times. And that means drawing a line. If Harry is stripped of his title, it won't just be a personal blow. It will be a landmark change in what it means to be royal in the modern world. Because at the end of the day, the crown isn't just about heritage and fancy titles. It's about trust, duty, and showing up. And if you chuck that all away for a Netflix special, don't be surprised when the crown quietly takes the keys back. The Titles Deprivation Act might be ancient, but the message is bang up to date. Betray the crown, lose the crown. So here we are, the Sussex saga in full swing, gloves off, legal wheels turning. And unless something changes fast, Harry might be the first royal in over 100 years to be officially stripped of his title by law. And let's be honest, it wouldn't be a shock at this point. The crown's had enough, the public had enough, and sooner or later, that crown-shaped rug Harry's been standing on might just get pulled out from under him.